What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel and the video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the top 5, at least in my opinion, most valuable draft picks from the 2021 NFL Draft. Now, this is not the best 5 players that were drafted. This is the most valuable picks that were taken in the draft. So somebody that was taken between the 10-20 range in the draft might be in this list. Somebody who was in the top 3 of this draft might not be on this list. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not going to have Trevor Lawrence in this list just because he was the #1 overall pick. It's kind of hard to mess up from a value standpoint, that choice, especially when you're taking a quarterback and when it's a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence's caliber, who we've kind of known was going to be going to Jacksonville for the better part of a year now. So he's just not going to be in this list. Now, with the number 5 spot, I'm actually going to have a tie between 2 offensive linemen, one being named Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle taken for the LA Chargers, and Elijah Vera Tucker, the guard taken for the New York Jets. These are the most valuable picks, or at least these are top 5 value in picks because of the fact that these franchises are both saying to their young quarterbacks that they're going to do as much as possible to prevent what happened to previous quarterbacks in, the New York Jets case, or in the LA Chargers case, they're just going to shore up the offensive line as much as possible for an offensive rookie of the year quarterback in Justin Herbert, who, if he keeps going on the trajectory he is on and he can stay healthy due to a good offensive line in front of him, then his career is going to take off even further than it already has. Now, at the number 4 most valuable draft pick selection, I have Travis Etienne, the running back that was taken for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this a lot has to do with the fact that Travis Etienne played with Trevor Lawrence throughout his whole entire career in college at Clemson. And Travis Etienne is a good running back. I think in any other year, if we weren't at this point with first-round running backs where we kind of, devalue them by almost a whole entire round just because of the fact that they don't last 6 or 7 years like quarterbacks or offensive linemen or wide receivers do. If running backs actually had the same sort of value that they're actually worth, Travis Etienne would have been a top 10 pick. But because of the fact that they don't get valued as highly as they do, he becomes the 4th most valuable pick in my opinion. Now, there is one somewhat, not really bad thing, but one thing that does kind of go against the pick of Travis Etienne at that number 25 spot, and that's the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars already had James Robinson last year, who was, I believe, over 1,000 yards rushing, and he was a really good option out of the backfield as well. They also signed Carlos Hyde in the offseason, so now they kind of have 3 guys who, even though it's good to have 3 good running backs, having 3 really, really good running backs who need to have the ball in their hands for a majority of the touches that go to the running backs in the game, you can't really split up touches to these guys and have them be at their most effectiveness. But I think, we'll probably see Travis Etienne be the #1 running back for this team, maybe James Robinson off the bench, or possibly even trade him. I would assume he has some sort of value up to this point. Now, the 3rd most valuable pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, I have it being Justin Fields, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Again, this is one of those statement picks that the Chargers and the Jets and the Jaguars, all teams before them, had made in terms of changing the outlook of their future, getting a guy who maybe he won't start day 1, maybe it will be Andy Dalton starting day 1 for the Chicago Bears, but Justin Fields at least gives the Chicago Bears somebody to save the job of Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy with, because up to this point, you can't really say that either of those guys deserve to have the jobs that they have right now. But if this pick ends up working out for both of those guys, it will save their job, and it will save pretty much every single hope and dream of every Chicago Bears fan of winning a championship in the NFL. Now, the 2nd most valuable pick that was taken in the 2021 NFL Draft, this might be a shocker to some of you. I have it being Ja'Marr Chase, the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. I understand that Penei Sewell was available, the best offensive tackle in the draft, but having a great offensive line, it's great. It's cool. It's awesome. But if you don't have somebody to throw to, and I understand that the Cincinnati Bengals have Tyler Boyd, I understand that they have Joe Mixon, I understand that they have some good, okay options to pass to. But if you don't have a great option to throw to, if you don't have an option that not only is going to get open whenever he wants to, but is going to catch unopened passes, is going to run after the catch, is going to just do everything that is necessary of a #1 or #2 receiver, or just forget the number, whatever wide receiver you have on the field, if he can do everything for you, it kind of, you know, it doesn't take away from what the offensive line doesn't give you. It actually adds to what the offensive line doesn't get to. Because now Joe Burrow is going to be getting the ball out of his hand quicker to somebody like Ja'Marr Chase, who's going to win early, or he's going to maybe not win off the route, but he's going to make contested catches over smaller defenders. So this pick, I understand that Penei Sewell was there. I understand that Rashawn Slater was there. I understand that any offensive lineman that could have been taken here would probably, in many people's eyes, the better decision than Ja'Marr Chase. But when you throw in the fact that Ja'Marr Chase is going to be open 85% of the time he's on the field and running routes, and he played at LSU with Joe Burrow, won a national championship with Joe Burrow. In my opinion, that's the second most valuable player that was taken in the draft. Despite there being, maybe a need at that offensive line, I think Ja'Marr Chase will kind of fix that on his own as well. And speaking of Penei Sewell, the number one most valuable pick that was taken in the 2021 NFL Draft, I have it being Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle for the Detroit Lions. There is a little bit of, overlap when it comes to that position for the Detroit Lions. They signed Hal Vaitai. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name. They signed Vaitai from the Philadelphia Eagles a couple years ago, gave him like $45 million or something stupid like that to play right tackle for the team. I didn't watch enough Detroit Lions football, nor would I ever want to know whether or not Hal Vaitai was worth that contract. But at the same time, they also have Taylor Decker, who is a former first-round pick at that left tackle position. I don't know if Penei Sewell is versatile enough to go to that guard position. I just don't know. He didn't play last year, so I don't know if anybody knows at this point. But at the same time, he at least gives them an option to either plug him in at right tackle, maybe try to trade Vaitai or get rid of him. I think if they cut him before June 1st, it's like a $4 million loss or something like that. So they're kind of screwed when it comes to that. But at the same time, this is a Detroit Lions organization that, with their new head coach, with new people running the franchise and the on-field operations, this is going to be a team that they're going to figure out who are not only the hardest working guys on the field, but they're going to figure out who fits together the best, and whether that's Penei Sewell at right or left tackle, I don't know if anyone knows. Whether that's him at guard, I don't know if anyone knows, but I would leave it in good. I think it's in good hands with Detroit right now in terms of being able to figure out who's going to play where on that offensive line, and I think Penei Sewell does give them a lot of options. With all that being said, that's going to be the video for me. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like. If you didn't, make sure you leave a dislike. Any feedback from you all at this point is much appreciated. If you're one of my returning subscribers, make sure you keep tuning into the videos. If you're new, make sure you hit subscribe. I have not posted a video in 2 months, but I'm going to try to do this more normal just because I want to, and I think it's fun. So, yeah, watch my videos when they come out or don't. I don't really care. Have a good day.